When a woman finally gathers the courage to speak up, instead of support, she's often met with judgment. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Inner Bloom Journey podcast. I hope you guys are doing okay wherever you guys are tuning in from. If this is your first time here, I'm your host, Salma, and I'm a JSHD certified mindset and relationship breakthrough coach. On my channel, I usually talk about healing, emotional resilience, self-worth, and the difficult realities many people face silently in their lives. Today's conversation is not an easy one, but it is a necessary one. Because there are millions of women walking around today, smiling on the outside, functioning in society, showing up for their families, while something inside them is quietly dying in silence. Today, we are talking about how silence can slowly destroy a woman. And before we proceed, I would like to say this clearly. This video is created for educational and awareness purposes only. It is meant to open a conversation around emotional abuse, psychological harm, and the long-term impact of silence on victims. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please seek professional support, counseling, or local resources available to you. You deserve support, safety, and healing. Let's dive into our topic for today: the silence that slowly breaks a woman. Abuse does not always leave visible bruises. Sometimes it leaves something far more dangerous. Silence. The silence of not speaking up. The silence of being afraid to tell anyone. The silence of protecting the very person who is hurting you. And over time, that silence begins to eat away at a woman's identity. Not overnight, but slowly, quietly, like a slow leak in your soul. Why so many women stay silent? Let's talk about it. Many people from the outside ask these questions. Why didn't she speak up? Why didn't she leave? Why did she tolerate it? But what they fail to understand is this. Abuse rarely starts as abuse. It often starts as charm, attention, love bombing, promises, emotional dependency. And by the time the manipulation begins, the woman is already emotionally invested, already attached, already hoping things will change. And when the abuse begins, it doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like this: being constantly criticized, being blamed for everything, being emotionally manipulated, being isolated from friends and family, being told you're the problem, being made to feel small, weak, or worthless. And slowly, a woman begins to question her own reality. Let's talk about the judgment women face. Now, here's where the wound becomes even more deeper. When a woman finally gathers the courage to speak up, instead of support, she's often met with judgment. She's called names. People question her character, her intelligence, her choices. They ask questions like, how could you be so naive? Why didn't you see the red flags? Why did you stay so long? And suddenly, the victim becomes the one being judged, the one being blamed, the one being shamed. And that shame pushes many women right back into silence. Why do abusers get away with it? Let's talk about it. This is the deeper question we rarely talk about. Why do people who harm others often seem to get away with it? Because abuse thrives in 3 conditions. Number 1, silence. Number 2, fear. Number 3, isolation. When victims are afraid to speak, when society judges the victim instead of questioning the abuser, when people choose gossip instead of empathy, the abuser remains protected and the victim remains trapped. The psychological impact on a woman. Over time, something tragic begins to happen. A woman who once had dreams, opinions, a strong voice, begins to disappear. She begins to function on autopilot, like a living robot. She shows up to work. She takes care of responsibilities. She smiles when necessary. But inside, she feels numb, disconnected, and exhausted. Her self-esteem slowly erodes. Her identity becomes blurred. She begins to question, who am I anymore? Do I know myself? This is the invisible damage of prolonged emotional harm, and healing from it is not quick. Sometimes it takes years. Why do you think women should support women? Another painful reality is this. Sometimes the harshest judgment towards a victim comes from another woman. Instead of support, they criticize. Instead of compassion, they question. Instead of standing beside her, they pull her down. But imagine what could happen if a woman truly supported another. If we supported one another. If instead of asking, why didn't she leave? We asked, how can we support her healing? Because healing from abuse requires something powerful. It requires a community. No one heals in isolation. It takes understanding, compassion, and a safe space where victims feel believed. What happens to a woman who survives? Let's go down this rabbit hole. Here's something important to understand. Women who survive emotional abuse often become incredibly strong. But that strength usually comes after immense pain, after rebuilding their self-worth from ground up, and after learning to trust themselves again, after rediscovering their voice. Some survivors go on to become advocates, healers, mentors, leaders, because they know exactly what it feels like to lose yourself and then slowly find your way back. Why awareness matters. Let's talk about it. Life is not that long. No human being should spend years suffering in silence. And the more we talk about these issues openly, the safer it becomes for victims to come forward. It takes a village to build a world where people feel safe speaking about the truth. It takes courage. It takes compassion. And it takes awareness, because silence may protect the abuser, but it slowly destroys the victim. If you are someone who has experienced emotional abuse, please remember this. Your silence was not weakness. Often it was survival. But your voice matters. Your healing matters. And your story deserves to be heard. If this message resonated with you, or if you believe conversations like this need to happen more often, I invite you to please become part of this community. Please join me, become part of the community. Subscribe to my YouTube channel where we talk openly about healing, self-worth, relationships, and personal transformation. You can always find more resources on coaching and support on my website. My website information is heal, grow, let go, and evolvewithsalma.com. Together, we can create a space where healing is possible and silence no longer destroys lives. Until next time, take great care of your heart and keep blooming from within. I thank you all for watching. Please take great care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your messages, for comments, for supporting my channel. I'm very, very blessed and I'm very grateful to be working this journey with you. Please hit the subscribe button so we can walk this journey together and continue to bring topics like this, which can help us grow, transform, and evolve into better versions of ourselves. I am so blessed that I chose this journey. I'm so blessed that I became part of the Jay Shetty Certification School. The program taught me so much. I've grown so much in the past year. My life is completely transformed, and I'm loving every single minute of what I've learned, the changes that have brought into my life, the transformation and everything that has happened within the year. I'm just so thankful and grateful, and I'm so happy that I joined the school. It really changed my life. It transformed me in ways I cannot express. So I'm happy to continue to bring topics like this so we can discuss openly and we can talk about things that needs awareness. Awareness is the key. And there are many people who actually are suffering in silence, but they can't find their voices. And topics like this help me bring awareness to people who actually probably need to hear this. So please subscribe and let's walk this journey together. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and always remember you're whole, resourceful, and complete just the way you are. Let go, grow, transform, and evolve. This is your Inner Bloom journey. I thank you all again for watching. Take great care of yourselves. See you next week. Love you all. Thank you so much.